All right, being 6:30, I'd like to call the January 20th Common Council meeting to order. Could we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Chad, was the roll call taken?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, I'm looking for a motion.
I move to adopt the agenda.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Barrented, seconded by Mr. Besaw. Any additions or corrections?
Nope.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Looking for a motion for the meeting minutes?
Move to approve the motion, move to approve the minutes of December 16th and January 6th Common Council meeting.
Second. Motion made by Mr. Fache and second by Mr. Dorsey for the adoption of the December 16th, 2025 and January 6th, 2026 Common Council meetings. Any additions or corrections? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Mr. Dorsey, let's pay some bills.
Sure, make a motion for the authorization to pay the bills in the amount of $885,881.32.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Dorsey, seconded by Mr. Fache to pay the bills in amount of $88,881.32. Any further discussion? Please cast your ballots.
Hold on.
Motion carried 8 yes and 1 abstention. So motion carried. Next, we got a special request from the Shamrock Club to change the city name to New Dublin for the week of March 16th through the 21st. Melissa?
Thank you for having me here tonight. And top of the evening to ye. Where's Mayor Mark?
He's in Florida.
Oh, okay. See, I had said to Mayor Mark. Councilmen and women. I'm Melissa Mulroy, representing the Shamrock Club of New Dublin. And I'm here to talk just a wee bit about the activities we've been working on during the past year. First of all, thank you to our city's Park and Rec Department for their assistance, especially filming the events during the week. And a huge thank you to the Street Department, placing street barriers that keep pedestrians safe, adding the Irish flags up and down Pearl and North Water Streets, hauling a set of bleachers out of storage to set along the parade route, setting detour signs, and that's just some of the many jobs this necessary city department does in the background. Next time you see one of them out plowing snow, wave and say thank you. We'd be in rough shape without you. I gave each of you a pin that depicts the theme for 2026. Our theme is Where the Wolf Flows, the Shamrocks Grow. After coming up with a theme each year, we asked club member Janet Gala to design a button. She did a great job again this year. This year's theme not only reflects the importance of the wolf in our community, but also recognizes the similarity between New London, Wisconsin, and our sister city, Killaloe, in County Clare, Ireland. Killaloe also has a famous river flowing through it, the River Shannon, about which many poems and songs have been composed. I'm hoping to hear some of them in the annual Night of Irish Entertainment, which will be Thursday, March 19th at our high school. There will be Irish dancing and bagpipe music in the show. Let me give you just a quick overview of our week's events. Monday, March 16, leprechauns will be spotted around the city, changing street signs and visiting school children and others. I just met someone here who has never lived through this before, so he's going to be surprised to see the leprechauns. Tuesday is Hooligan Day, where tasty Irish food is offered in local restaurants and pubs, and featuring music at Pups Pub in Northport Tuesday evening. On Wednesday evening, Shamrock Club members and others join in singing the old Irish songs to residents of St. Joseph and the Washington Center. Thursday is the before-mentioned Irish entertainment show at the high school. This is where the 2026 Irish royalty is introduced. We are proud to have former Police Chief Jeff Schlueter as our Grand Marshal. And the dynamic couple, Bob and Shelley Leahy, will serve as our Irish man and Rose. The children, the Irish lad and lass, will be selected closer to St. Patrick's Day after the children have submitted poems for the poetry contest. Friday is the Céilí, which is a Gaelic word meaning Irish dance party. It's held at Crystal Falls. We will have a live music and a Céilí caller to teach dance steps, pretty much like a square dance caller. And this brings us to Saturday, March 21, the Grand Parade, where our streets will be filled with visitors from near and far. Each event during the week is paid for by the Shamrock Club and free for all to attend. Every event is family friendly. On Saturday, we do need to charge admission to the entertainment tent downtown. It's very expensive to get this tent in and to heat it. This brings me to the reason for coming to you tonight. I hope you will grant my request to change our city's name temporarily from New London to New Dublin. I want to point out the fact that we may be the only city in the world to change her name in recognition of the thousands of Irish immigrants that flooded into our country's port cities during the years of 1840, 1850. Because of the freedom of speech exercised in our country, we are permitted to do this. Where else but in the United States of America? Please consider changing our name for the dates March 16 through and including March 21, 2026. And thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you, Ms. Maury.
I move to change name of the city from New London to New Dublin for the week of March 16 to 21, 2026.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Barrington, seconded by Ms. Croy, to change New London's city's name to New Dublin for the week of March 16th through the 21st, 2026. Any discussion? Please cast your ballot. Mr. Bissell. Carried 9-0. Thank you, Ms. Maury, and we will wish for 70 degrees and sunny. How's that sound?
We only had that 1 year.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Public comment. Seeing any public comment? One last time for public comment. We will close the public comment section. Next, we move into standing and special committees. Board of Public Works, Mr. Barrington.
There was no meeting for Public Works this month.
Thank you very much, Mr. Barrington. Finance and Personnel, Mr. Dorsey.
I'd like to, we had no meeting, but to consider the approval of the monthly license list as approved by the police department.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Dorsey, seconded by Mr. Fache, to approve the monthly license list recommended for approval by the police department. Any further discussion? Please cast your ballot. Motion carried 9-0.
That's all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Dorsey. Moving on to Parks and Recreation, Mr. Besaw.
Thank you, Your Honor. Park and Rec Committee met on Tuesday, January 6th. The meeting was called to order at 5:15. Motion was made to approve the and seconded to approve the agenda. Motion was carried by all 13-0. Motion made to a second to approve the November 4th, 2025 meeting minutes. That motion was made and seconded and also carried 13-0. Public input, there was none. I introduced a new student member, Ethan Byer, for Park and Rec Committee, school representative. Consider approving new addition to Northport Snow Riders route within the city limits. Director Sol introduced Dan Wilfer, representative from the Northport Snow Riders Snowmobile Club. They are seeking approval from the committee to cross some property owned by the city of New London along Spur Road. This is a non-funded club trail that would have access to a local business and possible future extension to connect with the state Newton Blackmore Trail. Motion was made and seconded to approve the new addition to the Northport Snow Riders route within the city limits. That motion was carried by all 13-0. An Eagle Scout presentation, Director Saul introduced Noel Schubert, Eagle Scout, with a proposed project improving Allen baseball field by updating the dugouts. Motion made and second to accept the donation project proposed by the Eagle Scout. That motion also carried 13-0. Consider and approve an agreement with Opaka County Mule Site facility use. Director Saul recommended renewing the annual agreement with the Opaka County Department of Health and Human Services and the City of New London for the continued use of the Washington Center. That motion was also approved and seconded to approve the agreement with Opaka County Congregate Mule Site use. That motion also carried 13-0. Consider an ordinance creating section 12.40 of the municipal code for regulating and permitting public art. Director Sol noted with this change, the murals will be included with the public art rather than signage. This will allow additional sculptures throughout the city as well. That motion was approved and seconded to create ordinance section 12.40 of the municipal code for regulating and permitting public art. That motion also carried 13-0. Director's report was included in the agenda packet and was reviewed by the committee. Additional comments, notes as follows. Snow removal, Tree City USA application submitted, fee schedules updates. Chairman's report, there was none. Future agenda items, tennis court plan. The next Park and Rec Committee meeting will be held on Tuesday, February 3rd, 2026 at 5:15. Being no further any further meeting to discuss, motion was made and seconded to adjourn the meeting at 5:39. That motion was carried for all. I would look for consider approval of a new addition to the Northport Snow Riders route within the city limits.
I'll second it.
It's not on the agenda.
We don't have to do that?
Correct, that was done at committee, so that's
On a
fine.
committee.
Oh,
Yep,
okay.
that was on the agenda
All
tonight.
right, sorry about that.
It's all right.
I would look for the Director Souls introduced with a proposed project improvement for the Allen baseball field by updating the dugouts.
Motion made by Mr.
Second.
Besaw,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Roberts. To accept the donation of dugouts improvements at the Allen Field Baseball Diamond in Hanton Park as a Eagle Scouts project. Any discussion? Please cast your ballots. Motion carried 9-0.
And I would look for a motion to consider an approval agreement with Opaka County Mule Site facility use.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Besaw, seconded by Mr. Fache, to approve an agreement with Opaka County for meal site facility use. Any discussion? Please cast your ballots. It also carried 9-0.
And I would look for approval of an ordinance creating section 12.40 of the municipal code for regulating and the permitting of public art, a second reading.
Motion made by Mr. Besaw,
First reading.
first reading.
First reading? Did I say second?
Yep.
Okay, first reading.
First reading. Motion made by Mr. Besaw,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Dorsey, to approve an ordinance creating section 12-04 of the municipal code for regulating and permitting of public art. This is the first reading. Any discussion? Please cast your ballots. That also carried 9-0.
That's all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Bisau. Moving along to Planning Commission, Mr. Ritchie.
December 18th, 2025 minute, or planning commission meeting was called to order at 5:15. Motion was made and seconded to adopt the agenda, carried by all. October 30th, 2025 minutes were reviewed. Motion was made and seconded to accept the minutes. That was carried by all. The planning commission chair opened the public comment portion of the agenda and no one responded after the query. Public comment was closed. First action item was discussed as possible action on a site plan proposal for Hilker Warehousing LLC located at 405 West Wolf River Avenue. After some discussion about elevation from the flood plan view, a motion was made to approve the site plan proposal. The motion was made and seconded, carried by all. The meeting was handed over to Ben Rule. Ben is the lead person representing Vandy Wall and Associates. Ben provided a presentation of the public hearing draft zoning ordinance and zoning map, including a summary of the public open house on November 17th, 2025. Public hearing was open. There was no comments. After 3 queries, Chad stated that there were no submitted comments from the public. The planning commission was then given the opportunity to discuss further and provide comments and suggestions. None were offered, and the planning commission chair closed the public hearing. Motion was made to recommend resolution of the draft zoning ordinance to the city council for adoption. The motion was made and seconded. Motion was passed unanimously. Then a motion was made to recommend a resolution of the draft zoning map to the city council for adoption. The motion was made and seconded and carried by all. On agenda item, none to report at this time. A motion was made to adjourn and seconded and carried by all. The meeting was adjourned at 5:38. Okay, I'm looking for a motion to approve
We got to go over the presentation of the,
presentation and recap of zoning code rewrite process.
yep. Next is the presentation and recap of the zoning code rewrite process. Chad?
Yep, thanks, everyone. First of all, we have Ben Rohr from Vanderwall and Associates with us on Zoom tonight to kind of give a recap of the zoning code rewrite process. Unfortunately, Ben has lost his voice, so I'm going to pinch hit and just kind of go through his presentation. He is with us on Zoom. If we have any questions, we can ask him, and he will put in his chat any of the comments that he needs for us. But Ben is with us, and if we have any questions for him, but I'm going to pinch hit again, like I said, just kind of go through. This is the same presentation, similar to what we had at the Plan Commission meeting, if you attended the Plan Commission meeting. So I'm just going to go over this at a high level and recap this whole process, especially if anybody online hasn't kept up with us during this process. So on the screen, you can kind of see that we started this kickoff in 2024, where we identified that we wanted to update our zoning code. And there's just a kind of a listing there of events between 2024 and 2025 leading into 2026. And where we are tonight is at the city council meeting, and we are looking at the first readings for the new zoning ordinances and of the code and ordinance for the zoning map, which we will have tonight. A little history, New London obviously has had zoning in place for many decades. The last major rewrite was in 1994. Amendments have taken place over that time, and that resulted in inconsistencies. We had areas where it was contradiction between different sections. just when you have so many different amendments over time, it gets kind of messy. So we identified that we really wanted to update it and simplify what the zoning ordinance included. So we started with a recommendation to look at the code, and some of the reasons for that were also identified in our comprehensive plan. We wanted to increase areas that allowed for the middle missing style of housing. We've talked about that in the comprehensive plan rewrite process. We also talked about that in our zoning process of the rewrite. We really want to make sure that we have a very diverse amount of housing opportunities for different levels of availability income for our community. We also want to identify adequate and appropriately zoned lands to attract new business and job growth. We are seeing that today, especially because of that Highway 15 project. So this really kind of gets us in a really good state for being in a good position for that potential growth that we are seeing, and we anticipate to continue to see. And we want to make sure that everything reflected correctly with our land use policies and future land use map that's in the comprehensive plan, because the comprehensive plan and the zoning need to correlate and make sure they don't conflict with each other. So a couple other things with the project, we wanted to make sure we identified that this did complement our comprehensive plan. We also wanted to modernize the ordinances and make sure it's and its regulations and make sure that it's easy to read, it's user-friendly, it's flexible and predictable. And one of the things that we really enjoyed through this process is in the new code, it's simplified. There's many new diagrams and tables in the code. Ben did a really good job of simplifying it and making it more user-friendly, not only for staff, but the public if they want to go into the code and see what the setbacks are for their house and a garage or accessory structures and things like that. Meeting summaries, here's a little breakdown of the process. So as the council and plan commission knows, we started with some listening sessions right at the beginning. Kind of wanted to kind of get an idea where we were going down with this process. But then each of the meetings, staff and our consultant got together and we looked at different sections of the code and broke it all up, brought different information back to different meetings with the plan commission, reviewed those different sections that you can see listed on the table right here, and just kind of gave a good summary of what we did throughout this process to get to where we are today. We did have the full draft review at the last plan commission meeting along with a public hearing. I think there's another slide that talks about that. But again, tonight we are at the first council reading for the new ordinances for the code and the zoning map. We did have several public input opportunities throughout the process. So we had a public open house on November 17th. We had about 15 to 20 attendees come for that. So it was a great opportunity for the public to come in, ask questions, view the materials, and get good feedback back and forth of not only, and we took some of that information and made tweaks to the code and to the maps based on that public input open house. So that was really beneficial there. We also had a website set up that had everything laid out throughout the entire process. It talked about every meeting, like all those meetings I just identified before, and gave updates about what sections of the code we were working on, and every meeting that the plan commission did review this information. The link for that direct video is on our website yet today. So if anybody wants to know about fencing and the discussion that we had about that, you can go to the website and find that video that the plan commission talked specifically about that process and that topic. And then we also had the public hearings, and we had a public hearing at the last plan commission meeting. Unfortunately, nobody did come at that meeting to provide any additional comment other than what we had at the public open house. So again, we are tonight here to talk about the first reading of the zoning ordinances. And then we anticipate a second reading and adoption at our February, I think it's February 18th is the meeting, the Wednesday, if that's what the Wednesday date is. So I know that was really quick, but I know you guys have been involved in the process right from the start. Many of you came to the last plan commission meeting and was involved in that discussion. Are there any questions at this point?
Seeing no questions for Mr. Hurth. Thank you, Chad.
Yep.
Bernie, back to you.
Okay, consider an approval of an ordinance repeal and reenacting chapter 17 of the New London Municipal Code, first reading.
Motion made by Mr. Ritchie,
Second.
second by Mr. Dorsey to approve an ordinance repealing and reacting Chapter 17 of the New London Municipal Code. This is the first reading. Any further discussion? Please cast your ballots. Motion carried 9-0.
Okay, I'm considering approval of an ordinance repeal and reacting of official zoning map of the city of New London, first reading.
Motion made by Mr. Ritchie.
Second.
What was that?
Second.
Second by Mr. Barrington, to approve an ordinance repealing and reacting an official zoning map of the city of New London. This is the first reading. Any further discussion? Please cast your ballots. Motion carried 9-0.
That's all I have.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Ritchie. Next, we'll move on to Economic Development Committee. Ms. Croy?
Thank you. The November meeting was held on December 2nd in tandem with the Parks and Recs meeting. Therefore, there was no actual December meeting in 2025. And that's all I have. Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Croy. Let's move on to Capital Projects and Committee. There will be no minutes because the minutes were read and we had, action was taken at a special council meeting immediately following. Let's move on to our various meeting minutes and reports. Will stand as read in your packet. Reports of officers on recent events and announcements to the public. From Mayor, rescheduling the regular February council meeting to Wednesday, February 18th, 2026. Motion is needed to consider moving the February council meeting to Wednesday, February 18th, 2026. This change was initially prompted by the possibility of a spring primary election scheduled for Tuesday, February 17th. Although an election is no longer required in New London due to an absence of candidates on the ballot, the meeting date still needs to be changed. Several time-sensitive notices for the public hearing and approval of the zoning code were required to be published before the city was notified that no February election would be necessary. Looking for a motion.
I'd make the motion to change it to Wednesday, February 18th.
Motion made by Mr. Besaw,
Second.
second by Mr. Barrington, to move the February council meeting to Wednesday, February 18th, 2026. Any discussion?
Would the time be 6:15 also? Time of the meeting would still be the same, 6:30?
Should be 6:30, yep, same time. Any further discussion? Please cast your ballot. Motion carried 9-0. Next, we'll move on to City Administrator, Mr. Horth.
Thank you, Your Honor. As Council President Haas just mentioned, there is no spring primary election in New London on February 17th. Other municipalities may have elections, so those in the public may see election day coverages in the news. However, New London does not have any candidates requiring the spring primary. So the next election in New London will be in April. Secondly, we are continuing to accept tax payments in the front office at the municipal building throughout the end of this month. After that, tax payments will be shifted to be paid at the county. As a reminder, you can stop by the municipal building to pay your taxes, obtain your dog license, purchase your annual boat launch pass, and/or get your gate pass for the brush drop-off site all in one trip. So you can come to the municipal building and do that. And then lastly, I would like to introduce Austin Deeb. Austin is in attendance this evening, and as of today has accepted our offer to serve as the city's new Community Development Director. Austin will be overseeing the Building and Zoning Department and will work with residents and contractors on development projects, zoning permits, plan review, certified survey maps, wetland and shoreline zoning, plat reviews, and much more. Anything else that I put on his plate, right? Yep, that's good. His role will be here to help to ensure that permits, applications, and development projects continue to move forward in a timely manner as the city experiences additional growth. So Austin, welcome to our team.
Thank you, excited to be here.
And that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Horth. I'd like to also personally welcome you, Austin. Get on board and see how we go, right?
You bet.
All right, thank you. Let's move on to the Chief of Police, Chief Wilson.
Thank you, Mr. Haas. I want to recognize Officer Ben Keach for 3 years of service completed. And also, if you've been following our Facebook or the city's Facebook or webpage, the Code Red alert system is no longer in service through Wapaka County. They discontinued that service. It's been replaced by a Motorola Rave. It's a much friendlier application for the end users. So if there's any questions, you can contact the police department. Otherwise, there's instructions to sign up with that online. That's all I have.
Thank you, Chief Wilson. Next, we'll move on to Director of Public Works, Mr. Garsky.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have one service anniversary, Mary Mason. She is facility custodian, 3 years of service. And with this long cold snap ahead of us, there is going to be slippery areas in town. Salt has little to no effect in these temperatures. We did add abrasives in key areas, but we don't like to apply too much sand because it fills the storm system. You'll notice once temperatures do start to rise out of the teens and 20s, you'll see the residual salt start to work and start to clear up the streets. So take care when traveling. That is all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Garsky. Moving on to Director of Park and Recreation, Ms. Soul.
Thank you, President Hess. Daddy-daughter dance is right around the corner, so please get your tickets. The dance theme this year is Walk the Red Carpet on February 14th. Doors open at 5 p.m. with dancing, hors d'oeuvres, a mirror booth, and so much more. Tickets can be purchased online or at our office at 982-8521. We also have some open gym available. First off, new this year is the Pickleball Open Gym on Tuesdays from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. It's $5 to enter, and you do need to bring your own equipment, but we offer the space for you to enjoy. It's also just open gym season. The Washington Center Gym is open for kids Fridays 6 to 9 p.m. and Saturdays 9:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. and Saturdays 6:30 to 9:30 p.m. That cost is also $5 at the door. The gym is available for indoor walking for free Monday through Friday from 5:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. and then from 12:30 to 2:30 p.m. We just ask that you bring a clean pair of shoes to change into when you do that. And then over at the Aquatic and Fitness Center, winter session 2 of swimming lessons will be open for registration February 9th for the session running February 16th through March 19th. You can register online or by calling the Aquatic and Fitness Center at 982-8524. And that's all I have for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Soul. Last but not least, let's move on to Utility Manager, Mr. Bassett.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd like to report the electric department finished the electric reconstruction for the Highway 54 DOT project. And I'd also like to thank the police department for assisting in that when they removed the wires over the highway. And then last, I have a service anniversary for Andy Chandler, 13 years of service, and he's our electric supervisor for the utilities. That's all I have tonight, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bassett. Down for motion for adjournment.
So move to adjourn.
Second.
Who's the second? Motion made by Mr. Barrington, second by Mr. Ritchie for adjournment. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you, guys.